cooking on the program today. I'm Toya Singh, joining from New Delhi. Sonal joining us from Mumbai. We've got an action-packed show, as Sonal just said. Let's take you through everything we have on the program.
The cooking oil dilemma. Which cooking oil is the best? Is it refined oil or olive, mustard or ghee? 5 things to remember while picking oils. TBC explains.
And next, something slightly different. This is Sachin Sange. He is the chalk of the town. He's turning tiny sticks of chalk into detailed sculptures. It's a whole process. It's something he's been doing for years now. He says it's a mode of relaxation for him, but all he needs is a chair, a table, and his tools to create these masterpieces.
From entertainer to braintainer, well, from three idiots to mentalist, what's happening with actor Sharman Joshi? He spills the beans on his script choices, changing trends, and also talks about his equation with Aamir Khan.
And the IPL 2024 playoffs, it is KKR versus SRH in the qualifier. Who will be the top 4 wicket takers in the qualifier number 1? Stay tuned for all of the IPL action.
Let's start the program today by talking about cooking oil. Which cooking oil do you use? Is it refined or olive, mustard oil or ghee? Are you using olive oil because you think it's going to lower your cholesterol levels? Or ghee, since that seems to be back in fashion all of a sudden?
Right, there was a time when ghee was linked with heart attacks. Now ghee is understood to be bringing down the glycemic index. Now, what is the truth about oils? Which oils should be paired with what food? That's what we'll be taking a look at on the program today.
So let's start with an explainer. The TBC team spoke with experts extensively, and we have put together a chart for you and a top 5 one that will explain and perhaps answer all your questions. Let's start by giving you the top 5 things to remember when deciding on oils. Number 1 to look at is the smoking point of the oil. Now, just like liquids have a boiling point, oils also have a smoke point. Unlike water, which starts boiling at a certain temperature, oils catch fire and burn when heated beyond their smoke point. Now, when this happens, that's when harmful release of chemicals really takes place. So, for sauteing and shallow frying, you have to use oil which has a low smoke point. But if you're deep frying, be careful to use one which has a higher smoke point.
Okay, and the omega-2 to omega-6 ratio, that's point number 2. So according to the National Institute of Health, omega-3 fatty acids are what are essential fats, and they're the ones that the body cannot produce on its own. They play a very crucial role in brain functioning, in inflammation reduction around your body, and of course heart health. That's when you hear about them the most. Now, omega-3s are known to help lower the triglyceride levels in your body. They reduce the risk of heart disease. They may also aid in preventing and in managing different conditions. So, for example, you have rheumatoid arthritis, depression. Who recommends an omega-6 to omega-3 ratio of 4:1 to maintain optimal health?
That's right. So that is the one that you should follow according to the WHO guidelines over there. But number 3 on the list when looking at oils is looking at the fats in that oil. And there are 4 kinds that you should be looking at. There is saturated fat, there is SFA that is called, there is mono or unsaturated fat or fatty acids over there, there is polyunsaturated fatty acids, and there is trans fats. And don't worry, you don't need to know all of them. What you need to understand as a basic structure here is that every oil has a mix of all 4. What differs is the ratio, meaning butter and ghee are higher in concentration of saturated fats. Olive oil and mustard have higher concentration of MUFA, which can be actually better for you, while seed oils have a higher concentration of PUFA, beg your pardon. So a healthy mix of oils is what is required in our diets. So you should look at one where MUFA is slightly more.
Then there's the question of refined versus unrefined oils. So you have refined processes, including bleaching, deodorizing. They can significantly reduce the levels of these beneficial micronutrients that are present in your oils. You've heard of cold pressing and unrefined oils. Those are the oils that retain higher amounts of these micronutrients. That's why you'll have a bottle advertising that it's cold press oil. This is when it's compared to refined oils.
That's right. And number 5 on the list, and this is perhaps the most important one, do not reheat or reuse your oils. Reheating and reusing oils can have several negative health impacts, not just cancer, remember. As the oil breaks down with heat, it can release harmful toxins, become more acidic, and these toxins can irritate your digestive system, potentially contribute to chronic diseases as well. So that's Aaj Ka Gyan, the top 5 points that you need to remember when you're looking at oils. But of course, you will have questions, so do we. So we have 2 very interesting guests for you. Let's start with the first one. Priya Nagwani joins us now. She's a nutritionist and certified weight management coach. Good morning, Priya. Thanks so much for joining us here on The Breakfast Club. I want to first start by asking you, what is your verdict? What is your go-to oil in your kitchen? Because that should give us a cue.
All right, we'll look to
I'm not sure if, I'm not sure if Priya can hear us.
Do you?
Right. So while we...
Do you have a particular oil that you like using a certain way before you were researching this entire segment? Is there something that you've learned with this?
I've read too much about oils in the past couple of days to sort of understand this, but I think I'm sort of gravitating more towards having oils which are cold pressed and using a variety of them. So matching the right food with the right oil maybe, and a huge ghee fan. I come from North India, so you can understand.
The price point is always, when I see with cold pressed oil bottles, the price point is always what scares me, especially with olive oil, coconut oil. I always in my head for some reason think, cold pressed is going to equal more expensive. Is that something that's true on the market?
That's a good question. That's a good question, but remember, a cold pressed oil is an oil which is highly concentrated, so you don't use that much. It's like having a pure ingredient, but using little of it because it's very strong in flavor.
So a smaller amount would hopefully mean that even though it's priced higher, it'll go a longer way. All right, let's go over to our guest who is through with us, Sonal.
Hi Priya, I hope you can hear us this time around.
Hi Sonal, thank you for having me.
Hi. Great, great. Priya, we were just chit-chatting before we got you on what our favorite oil is, but I want to get the verdict from a certified nutritionist over there. What do you think, which is the best oil and your go-to oil in the kitchen?
So Sonal, there isn't one best oil, I would say, for optimal benefits. I think you have to decide the oil basis the requirement, basis the kind of cooking you're doing, the kind of health benefits you need, also the flavor profile that you prefer and the flavor that goes with the food that you're cooking. So there isn't one best oil, but yes, there are some oils which are very high in benefits like olive oil, coconut oil, mustard oil, etc. that you should be including in your diet. But yes, definitely it depends on what kind of cooking you want to do, and information that you shared about smoke points, that is very important to have because that will help you decide which oil to use when. So have a variety and include a lot of oils in your diet. I mean, there is no one best, that you can have.
So Priya, coming in from Delhi here with this next question, tell us, you're saying we need a variety of oils then in our cooking. If we're on a budget, what should that variety look like? How many should we try to spend for?
Variety, 100% yes, we should include variety in our variety of oils because different oils have different nutritional profiles, different fatty acid profiles and different kind of antioxidants that they give. Now in the Indian context, have a variety like mustard oil. I would rate mustard oil even higher than olive oil because it is 1/5 the cost. It has good amount of monounsaturated fatty acids. It has good amount of antioxidants and it is preferable, it is suitable for high heat cooking. So one is that,
Yeah.
And
So,
ghee definitely,
Priya, then-
again, you should include because, yeah.
No, go ahead, go ahead. Ghee and mustard, clearly those two are the ones
No.
that you say can
Okay.
work well,
So,
and also
yes.
conventionally has been part of our cooking system as well.
Correct.
But let me throw in the next question that perhaps
Correct.
helps people get more, practical solution here. Is there some sort of oil and food pairing that one must be looking at, cooking particular kind of food that sort of helps with better nutrient absorption when, sort of married to that oil?
Definitely. See, for regular cooking of sabzis, for high heat cooking, medium to high heat cooking that we have for Indian cooking, you can have mustard oil because it will not go rancid when you heat it at a higher smoke, because it has a higher smoke point. Now, for parathas, etc., you can use ghee, but not while cooking it. Apply it later when you have it on your plate. Use your butter, olive oil, sesame oil, etc. for your omelets because it has low to medium heat cooking. Drizzle olive oils, etc. cold pressed oils on your salads because it will give that flavor to your salads, as well as it will match with the smoke point requirements of that oil. So this way you can have a variety of oils and pair it with the foods in a manner which is suitable as per their smoke points and as per the flavors as well.
Priya, can you also tell us, this is a bit of a naughty question, but when it comes to reheating oils, reusing oils, we say we can't do that. Is that a definite no? Especially with vegetables oils, sometimes they say that, yeah, this kind of oil you can use, you can reheat. But do you say no, absolute no on all reuse?
See, the lesser the better, because what happens is when you reheat the oil, the chemical structure in the oils changes. There is a formation of trans fats and some free radicals, so which is inflammatory and is linked to chronic diseases. So better to not reheat the oil. In case you have a lot of oil left, then you can use it just for sauteing or for your regular sabzis, but not for long time cooking. I would suggest whenever you are craving for, say, a deep fried food, right, have a smaller kadhai which has small amount of oil in it, so that there isn't much left for using later. So that way, I think I do this, that I use smaller tadka kadhai, and whatever I want to deep fry, I can do that, and I don't have a lot of oil left with me to use it. Other thing is that there is nutrient loss as well. There are antioxidants, there are vitamins which are heat sensitive. Now when you keep reheating the oil, there isn't much nutrition left in the oil. Seed oils, I would say, don't have a lot of nutrition. They are just edible oils, I would call them, and they are anyway treated at high temperatures, etc. So do not reheat them at all, and try to avoid reheating as much as possible.
That's very practical advice. And Priya, I think my favorite two takeaways were that the heroes are already in our kitchen. Mustard oil, ghee, these are all already commonly accessible.
Correct.
Thank you for telling us so much. Thank you for joining us this morning on TBC. Now, on TBC, we like to take you from the experts into the kitchen, behind the scenes.
That's right. So you heard from the nutritionist telling you what is the right composition, what you should keep in mind. But I'm sure you're thinking, what dish to patch if I'm making an omelette? Is she saying use ghee or should I use butter? What should I do? We had these questions as well. So we dialed up Lakhan Jethani. He is a chef and over at Mizo, one of Mumbai's top restaurants over here. Let me just walk up to him. He's right here with us in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
Lakhan, how are you doing?
I'm amazing. How are you?
So Mizo is a restaurant that talks about clean eating, talks about lesser ingredients, the better. So I said, Lakhan, why don't you teach us a little bit about what oil to pair with what?
100%.
So here you are with that entire sort of lineup. Should we start with everybody's favorite olive oil?
100%.
Oil of the season?
Oil of the season, oil of the century, I would say. Olive oil is really, really good for salad dressings, as our nutritionist also said. It goes through good processes to make this oil, so it doesn't go through a lot of factory processes. So you can use this oil to dress your salads, even, for light stir frying. olive oil, not extra virgin olive oil, can be used. Extra virgin olive oil can be used to make dressings for your salads.
Right. So extra virgin, do not put that on heat at all is what
Not
you're
at
saying.
all, yes.
Okay, okay. So the next one here on the list, and our viewers have that. Toya is also over there. She'll be full of questions as well. So we'll toss to that in just a bit. But let's talk about the next one over here, coconut.
Yes.
And this one you have is cold pressed.
Correct.
So it's great to apply, it's great to eat. It also is used extensively in South India, no?
It is used in every part of India, I would say, not just South India, extensively in South India because we produce a lot of coconuts over there, right? Coconut oil has a high smoking point. It is extremely nutritious. You can use it in all your curries, dosas, idlis to make a tadka. And a pro tip would be you can use it in baking to make cakes.
Oh,
It is
nice.
highly flavorful.
Yeah.
It imparts a really good flavor, you know. Coconut mango is excellent.
Yeah.
Coconut chocolate
Brownies
is
also,
excellent.
yeah.
Yes, yes, 100%.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay, let's move to ghee then. We all love it. There was a generation that was told this will lead to heart attacks. Now we thankfully have data which says sugar is the one that does it, not fat.
Not fat.
But how to use ghee better in your kitchen?
So in my house, we would use ghee on almost everything now. Earlier, there were these myths that you cannot use ghee while pan frying or sauteing. But if you want to lightly pan fry or lightly saute, if you want to butter your bread, but a light heat, ghee is fine. Butter is fine as well.
It also has a very high smoke point.
Yes, 250, 200 to 250, I suppose. Butter is also 200 to 250. But some people are lactose intolerant. So the ones who are lactose intolerant can use ghee. Ghee should be put on rotis. It helps reduce your glycemic index. It has an extremely nice nutty flavor. It can be used in baking on almost everything. The Western world has adopted ghee now and are using ghee in coffee, in different things. It is highly nutritious, full of saturated fats, which is good for our body now.
And that's the reason why dadis and nanis would make a tadka out of it and
100%.
always top it up.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Let's
So-
move to the next one. This is mustard.
Yes.
It's, you know, when we were setting up the table before the show, we opened and there was a whiff here in the studio as well. That's how strong this oil is.
Yes.
But again, this traditionally used in the western part of the country, a lot of Bengali cooking,
Correct.
a lot of really flavorful march is
Correct.
made out of this.
Yes.
But anything beyond that that we can also utilize it with?
So mustard oil, 100% with fish is outstanding. The north of India would use it in pickles, making a lot of their pickles. My personal pro tip to use mustard oil would be if you're making a bengan ka bharta at home, just replace your oil with a little bit of mustard
Good
oil
one.
and you're going to be in for a surprise. Again, mustard oil, like coconut oil, has a lot of flavor inside it. So it pairs well with some dishes and does not pair well with some dishes. But it is extremely flavorful, extremely healthy, way better than vegetable oil currently. So please go ahead and use this.
Nice,
Keep
nice.
trying
And this is the
different
last one on the table, and this is sesame oil. So traditionally, this would be used in a lot of Chinese cuisine. Chinese, again, something that you use in a big wok with high heat, right?
Yes.
But what else then?
So again, this one is a cold pressed sesame oil. It has a lot of flavor. Apart from using it from on the wok because it has a high smoking capacity, today I would love to use it in soups. Take a couple of drops of sesame oil, just put it in your soup and mix it up. It's going to give a lot of robust flavor, amazing whiff, in your vegetable soup. In the restaurant, we use it to make a miso soup. We would add little sesame oil, so it gives the soup a nice nutty flavor and a whiff as well.
Yeah.
So
Toya,
soups,
after all this conversation on food, is dying to ask a question. Let's go to her and get that one as well. Toya, go ahead.
Chef, tell us, we were just speaking right now to a nutritionist who was saying that mustard and ghee are the two saviors. In your kitchen, in the restaurant, are they the two that you're using the most? Are you using others? What are you finding consumers like?
So I am using a lot of ghee in my restaurant, not too much of mustard oil because we are an Asian restaurant, so lesser of use of mustard. But a lot of ghee we've started supplementing now, when we do our bows or something, and we used to use butter, but I've started using ghee recently. I'm extremely, extremely fond of ghee, the flavor it has, the nutty flavor it has, and the fact that it can yet hold heat up to 200 to 250 degrees centigrade makes it a good stir frying option as well in today's age and day of time.
Yeah. Ghee with Japanese food. If you want to try more of that, you'll have to go to Chef's restaurant and Lakan's restaurant and understand that. But for now, thank you so much for educating us on all the different kinds of oil. This has been lovely. On that note, we're going to slip into a quick break. You go fetch what's in your pantry. We'll see you on the other side.
Likely, forward path as far as the Iranian government is concerned?
Well, the Iranian government has, of course, announced that he has been dead, Ibrahim Raisi, and his senior colleague, former Foreign Minister Amir Abdulhan. We know that Iranian embassies across the world, they have also flying their flag half-mast, that is a symbol of mourning for their respected leadership. Now the way forward is very tricky. Iranian elections were due next year, and now we'll have to wait for whether the Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei decides to organize the election, which is mandated by the constitution that the Vice President will take charge for the 50 days, and in between the elections will have to be taken place and the new leadership will be elected, or he will wait for another year when the elections were actually due. So that is a very critical decision that the Iranian government will be taking. We know that it's a theocracy, and the Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei has much of the hold, and he can at times oversee the constitutional mandates also. So what will be the decision of the regime? That we'll have to wait. But for now, the Iranians are mourning one of the most sad moment in their life, that the leadership, the senior-most leadership, who was also the front runner for the upcoming religious, leadership election, is dead with his senior colleagues.
Right. We'll go back across to Abhishek as and when there is more. Of course, this is going to be a turnaround of sorts, an important junction for the Iranian government. And of course, this is going to be very important as far as the region is concerned as well, because this incident is following a period of heightened regional tensions, particularly in light of the Gaza conflict and Iran's recent escalations with Israel. President Raisi, who's been in office since 2021, had pledged Iran's steadfast support for Palestine, a stance reiterated during his recent dam inauguration speech as well. Here's my colleague and our managing editor, Zaka Jacob, bringing you more on the implications of this crash.
So, Iranian state media has now confirmed that rescuers have found the wreckage at the site of the helicopter crash. The helicopter that was carrying the Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi. No survivors have been found, is what they're saying. Raisi, along with the Iranian Foreign Minister Abdullahian, was traveling for inaugurating a project very close to the border with Azerbaijan.
Welcome back. Let's take you now through stories from India and across the globe. A pilot has made history as first Indian-born tourist to journey into space aboard a commercial flight. Flight operated by Jeff Bezos-owned Blue Origin. Captain Gopi Chand Thakuru hails from Vijayawada in Andhra Pradesh and is based in the US. He joined 5 other adventurers from across the globe for the trip and became only second Indian to venture into space after Indian Army's Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma in 1984.
For the first time, the American Academy of Pediatrics has changed its position to now say that moms with HIV can safely breastfeed if they are on treatment, and the virus is undetectable. Reports say that the risk is estimated to be less than 1% if the mother is taking antiretroviral medications and the virus is suppressed in her body, meaning that there's no detectable viral load.
Elon Musk has launched SpaceX's satellite internet service in Indonesia. Indonesia is the world's largest archipelago with more than 17,000 islands, but it faces an urban-rural connectivity divide where millions of people living in rural areas have limited or no access to internet services. Starlink's launch aims to help the health sector, as the real-time input for data will now allow the region to better tackle health challenges such as stunting and malnutrition.
Okay, and we're moving to a different story now. After Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi's death in a helicopter crash, the acting leader, Mohammad Mukbir, has vowed that the country will keep moving forward under this leadership and the interests of the country won't have any disruption. Take a look. This is a report.
Debris and mangled metal can be seen wedged between trees at a site said to be the wreckage of Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi's helicopter on Monday. The footage from a Turkish broadcaster showed parts of the destroyed aircraft in a misty, forested area. Officials in state media on Monday said Raisi, a hardliner seen as a potential successor to Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was killed along with 6 others aboard the helicopter after it crashed in poor weather in mountains near the Azerbaijan border. Supreme Leader Khamenei, who holds ultimate power with a final say on foreign policy and Iran's nuclear program, announced 5 days of public mourning and said First Vice President Mohammad Mokber would take over as interim president. In the first cabinet meeting after the crash, the acting leader vowed the incident would not interrupt the government's operations.
This is a serious incident for all of us. It is sad and upsetting, but in the interests of the country and our people, we won't have any disruption. The country will continue moving forward under this leadership. Everyone should continue on with their roles despite this incident. In no way will this tragic incident interfere with the government and the running of our country.
The crash comes at a time of growing dissent within Iran over an array of political, social, and economic crises. Iran's clerical rulers face international pressure over Tehran's disputed nuclear program and its deepening military ties with Russia during the war in Ukraine. Iranians in exile in Berlin celebrated the president's death, while the head of a Paris-based Iranian opposition group told Reuters that Raisi's death represents an enormous and serious strategic blow to the mullah's supreme leader Ali Khamenei and the entire regime. The United Nations held a moment of silence for Raisi Monday, while leaders around the globe expressed their condolences, including Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan, who said earlier it sent rescue teams to assist, while even the U.S. offered to help after receiving a request from Iran, according to State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller.
I'm not going to get into the details, but we were asked by the Iranian government for assistance. We said that we would be willing to assist. It's something that we would do with respect to any government in this situation. Ultimately, largely for logistical reasons, we weren't able to provide that assistance.
The U.S. government offered condolences to the Iranian people, though a White House spokesperson said Raisi had blood on his hands for supporting extremist groups in the region. An Israeli official who requested anonymity told Reuters it was not involved in the crash, while the U.S. said it played no role either.
Now, as of this morning, Iranian state TV is reporting that they've found the wreckage. It was a long search, a 15-hour search. There was inclement weather. It was snowing in that area. It's a mountainous terrain. And finally, this morning, as Iranians are waking up this morning, they are waking up to this terrible news that no survivors have been found at the wreckage site. It's been confirmed by the head of the Iranian Red Crescent Society. He has said to state television that finding the location of the helicopter and seeing the scene there is no sign of any passengers being alive. So Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi, the Foreign Minister Abdullahian, as well as other senior government officials were traveling to this site very close to the border with Azerbaijan for the inauguration of a new dam project there. This, of course, happened very close on the slopes of a very steep mountain peak close to the city of Varzagam. This happened around 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday. But today, Monday morning, Iranians are waking up to this terrible news that their president and the foreign minister of that country has died, has perished in this unfortunate helicopter crash. Now, it comes at a very critical time as far as Iran's internal politics is also concerned, and of course, Iran's external politics with its neighbors, with the United States, etc., are concerned. Remember, the most immediate priority, of course, would be, as per the Iranian constitution, the new president has to be chosen in the next 50 days. There have to be elections. If anything happens to the president, as per the Iranian constitution, the vice president takes over the chair on an interim basis, and within 50 days, an election has to happen to elect the next president. Mr. Raisi, of course, had won that election in 2021. He was considered one of the most hardline right-wing leaders that Iran has seen.
Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi has died, along with Iranian Foreign Minister, when their chopper crashed near the village of Tawil in Iran's East Azerbaijan province. The helicopter has been identified as a US-make Bell 212. Images from the site showed the aircraft had slammed into a mountain peak, although the official cause of the crash is still unknown. Rescue teams battled blizzards and challenging terrain throughout the night to reach the wreckage, but upon discovering the crash site, it was discovered that there was no sign of life that was detected. My colleague Abhishek Jha is joining us with more. Abhishek, tell us, one, officially, what are Iranian authorities saying, and what is the likely forward path as far as the Iranian government is concerned?
Well, the Iranian government has, of course, announced that
Welcome back. Now our person of interest today is an interesting one. But before we go to him, think about the time when we were younger, bored in the afternoon in our classrooms, and at some point we've all fiddled with the chalk or with the compass in our geometry boxes. And what we saw as an opportunity to just play, our next guest saw as an opportunity for magic. Micro sculpture artist Sachin Sanghe joins us now this morning. Good morning, Sachin. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Breakfast Club. And firstly, congratulations on everything that you've doing. Those little pieces of chalks, the karigari is just spectacular. Tell us, how did you even think about doing something like this?
Thanks for having me today. Good morning. It's been more than 20 years, I would say. I started it when I was a high school student. I was good at writing on blackboard. My handwriting was neat and legible. I used to write in one straight line. And I used to write a lot on blackboards in school. Write daily news bulletins on notice board or some sayings. Any great sayings, quotes on notice board. So I always had pieces of chalk in my bag, geometry box. And also, I was good at watercolor painting, drawing. So I don't know how it happened, but I was just, kind of wanted to try something like making a chopstick hollow from end to end, this end to that end, without breaking it. It was just a casual try. Then it happened. It was successful. That kind of motivated me to do something else.
So from making a chalk hollow to these full-blown sculptures, we're actually showing our audiences some of your sculptures, and it's been 20 years now and more than 300 sculptures we're looking at, and it's not just chalk, we believe it's also lead. Can you tell us what's been the most challenging one to make so far?
So I think there are some sculptures I have done like historical monuments kind of sculptures. Like you might be knowing the stone chariot in Hampi, right? That I sculpted on pieces of chalk, not on single piece, but pieces of chalk. Every pillar, every detail, every single detail on that I try to bring it in this chalk sculpture. It is of matchbox size. I kind of attached. I carved the pillars separately and then attached, like how they build a temple. They carve pillars first and detail everything detail first and then assemble, right? And they bring together. So that's how I made it. And it is of like maybe 2 inch by 2 inch, not even 2 inch, 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch kind of structure. That was one of the challenging sculpture I did. And there's this Dandi March, the 11 Gyara Murti sculpture that is in Delhi. That was quite a challenging one to make. It again, not one Murti in one chalk piece. So that was quite challenging. And of course, on pencil lead, I had done Dhoni's that World Cup last ball 6 holes, right? That the winning shot of Dhoni 2011 World Cup. That I did on a pencil lead. That's maybe that measures 1 centimeter in height, maybe. Wow. So that was quite a thing to do.
Talking about Dhoni, he's not the only one. You've been making lots of little sculptures with celebrities. Tell us about that.
I mean, the first celebrity I met, is my childhood idol, and even now I admire him. I'm a fan of him. Sachin Tendulkar. Like, I had done a couple of sculptures for him, and I wanted to gift it to him. So it happened almost 10-11 years ago in Hyderabad during IPL time. I happened to meet him and gifted him few sculptures. He loved them, and then one biggest thing happened in 2018. I met Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi in 2018 January with my family. Late Anand Kumar ji had taken me to Prime Minister. So I gifted him some 8 sculptures. I mean, he loved each one of them, especially the one with his mother blessing Modi ji when he won the first election, Prime Minister election. So he loved it. He was asking how did I do that, how much time it took. And he was instructing camera person to take it properly since it is very small. And
Sachin, we can't let you go without you telling us how is it done exactly.
so I have something to show you. I have a couple of sculptures with me here now to show you. See, this is one sculpture of Rama done on piece of pencil lead. It measures maybe 2 centimeters in height. I don't know if it is clearly visible, but
It is.
It is, yes. So this is the one, and the other one maybe I have is this. This was done for Election Commission's digital campaign for voting campaign. Yeah, this is that finger, right? This kind of like this. So I had these 2 to show you today.
All right then, Sachin, thanks so much for sharing your art with us and sharing all the tools there as well. Thanks so much. On that note, we're going to slip into a break. Coming up on the other side, we've got the Golmaal active for you. Come right back for more.
India's #1
dead, Ibrahim Raisi, and his senior colleague, Foreign Minister Amir Abdulhan. We know that Iranian embassies across the world, they have also flying their flag half-mast, that is a symbol of mourning for their respected leadership. Now, the way forward is very tricky. Iranian elections were due next year, and now we'll have to wait for whether the Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei decides to organize the election, which is mandated by the constitution, that the vice president will take charge for the 50 days, and in between the elections will have to be taken place and the new leadership will be elected, or he will wait for another year when the elections were actually due. So that is a very critical decision that the Iranian government will be taking. We know that it's a theocracy, and the Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei has much of the hold, and he can at times oversee the constitutional mandates also. So what will be the decision of the regime? That we'll have to wait. But for now, the Iranians are mourning one of the most sad moment in their life, that the leadership, the senior most leadership, who was also the front runner for the upcoming religious leadership election, is dead with his senior colleagues.
Right. We'll go back across to Abhishek as and when there is more. Of course, this is going to be a turnaround of sorts, an important junction for the Iranian government. And of course, this is going to be very important as far as the region is concerned as well, because this incident is following a period of heightened regional tensions, particularly in light of the Gaza conflict and Iran's recent escalations with Israel. President Raisi, who's been in office since 2021, had pledged Iran's steadfast support for Palestine, a stance reiterated during his recent dam inauguration speech as well. Here's my colleague and our managing editor, Zaka Jacob, bringing you more on the implications of this crash.
So, Iranian state media has now confirmed that rescuers have found the wreckage at the site of the helicopter crash. The helicopter that was carrying the Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi. No survivors have been found.
Welcome back. Now, you might remember our next face from Golmaal and Three Idiots, but the new avatar that you're going to be seeing Sharma Joshi in is truly a mind-bending one. That's a clue. 6 years ago, Sharman watched a mentalist perform, and he was so blown away that he started training with him to learn. But what is a mentalist? As his new show, Braintertainers, debuts, he's caught up with Sakshi to explain exactly that and tell us all about his journey. Take a look.
Tell us quickly about what mentalism route that you have taken from an actor to now a mentalist. Why did you choose that path?
You know, when I seriously thought about actually doing this show with Bhupesh, the smile that you had on your face constantly, that we've seen him as an actor and now we are seeing him in the role of a mentalist, even I found it quite amusing. I said, this is quite something it's going to be, people will be wondering. And well, that's fine. That has been addressed in the show. We explain ourselves that how and when and how did this become. The first time I saw Bhupesh was about 6 years back performing the show that he does. And he had invited me for this. I was like the special invitee. And I saw the show and I was like amazed, jaw-dropping, literally. Mentalism is known to be the highest form of magic as of today. So there was magic in the earlier days, and there are magicians who are still there, and they perform their acts. They say they perform acts with things, and over here in mentalism, we perform acts with you, people, people and their minds. I have done a bit of OTT in the recent past. I had a couple of releases. I have one more film which is ready for release, directed by Mr. Abbas Mastan. There's Arjun Rampal, Bobby Deol, myself, and a whole lot of other actors. And it's my first time with Abbas Bhai Mastan Bhai. And it was an absolute treat working with them. The intricacy and the detailing with which they work is very exciting for any actor, and so it was for me. Hate Story 3 being the questionable film from many audiences, and including well-wishers and family members. At what kind of a show, what kind of a movie are you picking to do? This could be disastrous, and I was well aware of that. But I had to do this just for my satisfaction, my kick, my eagerness to not be put into a mold. And I was sure, honestly, from point go, that this is something I can pull off. It's just a thing that people have not seen me do it. So obviously, seeing is believing. Well, that's the tagline for our show also for entertainers, seeing is believing. So when you'll see it, you'll believe it. And thankfully, Hate Story 3 clocked the numbers. So then no one had anything to say. Numbers has become such a big thing now, including the audiences react to the numbers and not the experience. Whether they like the movie, not like the movie, all become secondary. The reviews influence them, the box office collections influence them, and eventually then now they come forward with their opinion. So chemistry, as we all know, it just happens naturally. If it happens, it happens. Doesn't happen, well, you can be polite to each other, but that chemistry won't be there, right? That special, that USP which you can't even point your finger on, that how is it happening? Even we don't know. You meet someone, you connect with someone on a different level, you get to know that person further, and you still connect even further, and the connection gets deeper, and then that, for a movie especially, it reflects on the screen. So chemistry with Amir has been wonderful. From day one, I've loved and respected the work that he's done. It's been incredible. He's always gone against the tide. I don't think for any other reason, but just because that excites him. And I don't think his intention is to prove anything to anyone that is my opinion. And because I also relate to the same level. I'm not here to show that I'm better than you or prove any point to anyone. It's about wanting to do good quality work, and more substance it has.
Raisi, along with the Iranian Foreign Minister Abdullahian, was traveling for inaugurating a project very close to the border with Azerbaijan. And now, as of this morning, Iranian state TV is reporting that they've found the wreckage. It was a long search, a 15-hour search. There was inclement weather. It was snowing in that area. It's a mountainous terrain. And finally, this morning, as Iranians are waking up this morning, they are waking up to this terrible news that no survivors have been found at the wreckage site. It's been confirmed by the head of the Iranian Red Crescent Society. He has said to state television that finding the location of the helicopter and seeing the scene, there is no sign of any passengers being alive. So Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi, the Foreign Minister Abdullahian, as well as other senior government officials were traveling to this site very close to the border with Azerbaijan for the inauguration of a new dam project there. This, of course, happened very close on the slopes of a very steep mountain peak close to the city of Varzagam. This happened around 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday. But today, Monday morning, Iranians are waking up to this terrible news that their president and the foreign minister of that country has died, has perished in this unfortunate helicopter crash. Now, it comes at a very critical time as far as Iran's internal politics is also concerned, and of course, Iran's external politics with its neighbors, with the United States, etc.
Welcome back. We're now going to bring you an update on the cricketing world. We've been watching IPL 2024 play out, and it's finally time for the playoffs. And what's special is that for the first time ever, all the 4 teams, so the top 4 teams that have made it here, they're actually different from the last season. And why that's exciting is because what it means is the matchups of the teams in the playoffs, what we're going to see happen, that's all going to be happening for the first time.
The power-packed KKR and SRH face each other in the qualifier 1, while Rajasthan and Bangalore, 2 teams with very contrasting results in May, will play the eliminator. The winner of the qualifier 1 will get to play the IPL 2024 finale. So Suramya Kaushik gets you the exciting stories of the top 4.
After 2 months of full cricketing action, we have got the top 4 of IPL 2024. At the topmost position are Kolkata Knight Riders, who have been near invincible this season. They've got the best net run rate. Also, theirs is the most balanced side on paper and on field. For the very first time in IPL, they have finished the league stage at number 1 spot. So it's a special position for them, and it's going to be a very important match for them against Sunrisers Hyderabad. But not to forget that their last 2 matches were abandoned due to rain. Both the matches were washed out without a single ball being bowled, and for this match against SRH, KKR will really have to pull up their socks if they want to register a great win and if they want the direct entry to the finale. Now, Kolkata Knight Riders will also be missing Phil Salt. He has gone back home, and at his place, Rahmanullah Gurbaz will be coming in. Gurbaz didn't play even a single match this tournament. He had a chance to play in the last encounter, but it was washed out. So Rahmanullah Gurbaz will be a surprise for SRH. But the way Gurbaz is known for his performances, it's a short guarantee that he'll be doing something different along with Sunil Narayan. One thing is for sure, that both of them will have to do a lot of talking with the bat. And when I'm talking about bat, then how can I forget SRH? They are the batting maestros of this season. SRH surely have changed the dynamics of T20 cricket with the kind of performances they registered this IPL. They nearly touched that 300 mark, and with that 287 runs on board, they created history of the highest ever score in IPL. And who doesn't like to watch Travis Head and Abhishek Sharma doing all the crazy hitting? And then comes in Henrik Larsson, Aiden Markram, Nitish Reddy. So they have all the batting firepower. But their bowlers will have to gear up, and they will have to put best show against KKR. That's that about qualifier 1. But let me tell you that the winner of qualifier 1 will get the direct finale ticket. But the loser of the qualifier 1 won't be knocked out. The loser of the qualifier 1 will get another chance, and they'll play the winner of the eliminator. Now, who's gonna play the eliminator round? It's gonna be the 2 Royals, Rajasthan Royals versus Royal Challengers Bengaluru. Both the teams have had an interesting story in this IPL, the league stage story. So RCB, they have registered one of the most remarkable comeback stories in IPL history. They jumped from the 10th position to the 4th position, and they qualified for the playoffs. And the most interesting victory was against the defending champions Chennai Super Kings. They knocked out CSK. RCB haven't lost any match in the month of May. They have won 6 on the trot, and they are just flying. While on the other side, Rajasthan Royals, they haven't won any match in the month of May, and they slipped from the 1st position to the 3rd, and that's why they'll be playing eliminator with RCB. It's gonna be a tempting clash in Ahmedabad. But before that, there's a big game coming up. It's KKR versus SRH. A lot of discussions are around, a lot of chatter is around Gautam Gambhir, his strategies and all. But what really matters is implementation. And for that, all the credit goes to Kolkata Knight Riders players. So it's gonna be Shreyas Iyer's indomitable force versus Pat Cummins and his batting mammoths. Now we know that Pat Cummins has silenced the Ahmedabad crowd once before, but this time around as well he can do that. But what we know is that this time around it can be only Kolkata Knight Riders fans, but it's going to be a great clash between the two teams.
All right, that's all we could pack in this edition of TBC. We'll see you again tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, with some more details on the heatwave.
See you. Goodbye.
Remember, the most immediate priority, of course, would be, as per the Iranian constitution, the new president has to be chosen in the next 50 days. There have to be elections. If anything happens to the president, as per the Iranian constitution, the vice president takes over the chair on an interim basis, and within 50 days, an election has to happen to elect the next president. Mr. Raisi, of course, had won that election in 2021. He was considered one of the most hardline right-wing leaders that Iran has seen.
Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi has died, along with Iranian Foreign Minister, when their chopper crashed near the village of Tawil in Iran's East Azerbaijan province. The helicopter has been identified as a US-make Bell 212. Images from the side showed the aircraft had slammed into a mountain peak, although the official cause of the crash is still unknown. Rescue teams battled blizzards and challenging terrain throughout the night to reach the wreckage, but upon discovering the crash site, it was discovered that there was no sign of life that was detected. My colleague Abhishek Jha is joining us with more. Abhishek, tell us, one, officially what are Iranian authorities saying, and what is the likely forward path as far as the Iranian government is concerned?
Well, the Iranian government has, of course, announced that he has been dead, Ibrahim Raisi, and his senior colleague, former Foreign Minister Amir Abdulhan. We know that Iranian embassies across the world, they have also flying their flag half-mast, that is a symbol of mourning for their respected leadership. Now, the way forward is very tricky. Iranian elections were due next year, and now we'll have to wait for whether the Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei decides to organize the election, which is mandated by the constitution, that the vice president will take charge for the 50 days, and in between the elections will have to be taken place, and the new leadership will be elected.
Can the India bloc halt the Modi juggernaut? Join me, Nistula Hebbar, for the most dynamic and distinct coverage, unrivaled political punditry, and the sharpest election analysis. Elections equals CNN News 18.
He will wait for another year when the election were actually due. So that is a very critical decision that the Iranian government will be taking. We know that it's a theocracy, and the supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei has much of the hold, and he can at times oversee the constitutional mandates also. So what will be the decision of the regime? That we'll have to wait. But for now, the Iranians are mourning one of the most sad moment in their life, that the leadership, the senior most leadership, who was also the front runner for the upcoming religious, leadership election, is dead with his senior colleagues.
Right. We'll go back across to Abhishek as and when there is more. Of course, this is going to be a turnaround of sorts, an important junction for the Iranian government. And of course, this is going to be very important as far as the region is concerned as well, because this incident is following a period of heightened regional tensions, particularly in light of the Gaza conflict and Iran's recent escalations with Israel. President Raisi, who's been in office since 2021, had pledged Iran's steadfast support for Palestine, a stance reiterated during his recent dam inauguration speech as well. Here's my colleague and our managing editor, Zaka Jacob, bringing you more on the implications of this crash.
So, Iranian state media has now confirmed that rescuers have found the wreckage at the site of the helicopter crash. The helicopter that was carrying the Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi. No survivors have been found, is what they're saying. Raisi, along with the Iranian Foreign Minister Abdullahian, was traveling for inaugurating a project very close to the border with Azerbaijan. And now, as of this morning, Iranian state TV is reporting that they've found the wreckage. It was a long search, a 15-hour search. There was inclement weather. It was snowing in that area. It's a mountainous terrain. And finally, this morning, as Iranians are waking up this morning, they are waking up to this terrible news that no survivors have been found at the wreckage site. It's been confirmed by the head of the Iranian Red Crescent Society. He has said to state television that finding the location of the helicopter and seeing the scene, there is no sign of any passengers being alive. So, Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi.
A very good morning to all our viewers. You're watching the morning news on CNN News 18. I'm Anjali Pandey, here to take you through all the latest news and updates from across the nation and around the world. And we're starting this bulletin with some breaking news that's coming in regarding the Swati Maliwal assault case. Now, Swati Maliwal has launched another attack against the Aam Aadmi Party. She has taken to Twitter, she has taken to the social media platform X, where she has said, and I quote, "Delhi ministers are spreading lies that an FIR has been filed against me for corruption. Hence, I did all this on the instructions of the BJP. According to them, until I filed a complaint against Bibhav Kumar, I was Lady Singham, and today I have become a BJP agent. They are putting my relatives' lives in danger by tweeting their details using their card numbers. I will take you to court for every lie you spread." That's the post from Swati Maliwal against the Aam Aadmi Party. She has accused them of spreading lies. In fact, she has also cited that her relatives' lives is in danger due to the Aam Aadmi Party. CNN News 18's Akash Sharma is now joining us on this story. Akash, scathing attack coming in from Swati Maliwal herself. She's saying that earlier she was Lady Singham for the Aam Aadmi Party, but as soon as she filed a complaint against Bibhav Kumar, she has now become a BJP agent.
Exactly, and a number of things have been mentioned by Swati Maliwal in this tweet. First off, all it is about the case that Aam Aadmi Party has been mentioning. We heard Atishi saying that how ACP has registered a case against some sort of alleged sort of corruption that happened in DCW, and in fact the appointments that happened in DCW. But Swati Maliwal is categorically saying that the FIR was filed 8 years ago and Delhi